Welcome back to another episode of PODZILLA. We are continuing our discussion about what happened in the good old days. Remember the good old days,
Yeah,
David?
remember, we're living in the good old days right now, the good old 20s. So, sit down with your family, gather around the radio, pop open some popcorn and some soda pop, and grab your children and hold them tight and just hug them and kiss them all over the face. And then kiss them some more and then put them to bed and then listen to our show. And then, I don't know, what else do they do back then? All I can do is picture a very loving family. Thank you for being such a loving family and listening to PODZILLA.
Let's talk about movies. I can't do this much longer. Thank you so much for joining us on PODZILLA. It's a podcast about pop culture. We call it a digital discourse of pop culture, which just means, quite simply, conversations about movies. Sometimes we talk about shows. Sometimes we talk about video games. We kind of been dropping the ball on that, so I don't know if we really talk about video games all that.
Well, have you started The Last of Us?
I have started The Last of Us.
Yeah! Okay, so for anybody who's not aware, I'm making David play through The Last of Us because I really want to talk about The Last of Us. It's my favorite game, and also The Last of Us 2. I would like to talk about it.
So Braden, I have the remastered, The Last of Us remastered. I started it. So far, it's a blast. I love the story. I think it's super cool.
How far are you?
I'm not super far. I'm not super far. Maybe I've been playing for maybe an hour. Hour and a half.
Yeah.
I played. So I get off work a couple hours before Heather does. So I played until she got home. Okay. Pretty much. And then
cool.
I stopped playing. But anyway, so we'll talk about The Last of Us. We'll dedicate an entire episode. Once I finish The Last of Us, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of speculate on maybe what The Last of Us Part 2 is about. And then we'll both play The Last of Us Part 2.
I'm not going to wait on you.
We'll talk about that.
I'm going to be honest. I can't wait on you.
I know you can't. You never can. But thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It helps the algorithm. Please share this with your family and friends. For our faithful listeners who listen all the time, I know you're not doing that. I can tell. But please do it this time. I love you, though. I appreciate you. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you listening, but unfortunately, we know that our faithful fans are not sharing our podcast. Aside from Robert, you're the MVP.
You're my champion.
Robert, you're the champion of this podcast, and we completely appreciate you and everything you do. For those of you who don't know who Robert is, he owns and operates an apparel company called Only Hope Supply. Go follow them on Instagram.
They're amazing.
He also has another apparel company called Faith Attire.
Two apparel companies that sell amazing merchandise, cool graphic t-shirts. Only Hope Supply does a lot of pop culture, Disney Park show, a lot of Star Wars stuff.
Star Wars, Disney Park. They have a cool Mulan shirt, just really cool pop culture shirts. And then Faith Attire has a lot of cool kind of faith-based designs. So follow both of them. Thank you, Robert, for being our old faithful. I love you more than life itself, Robert.
You're the only thing getting me by, Robert. If you stop liking our videos,
Robert, if you stop messaging me,
I swear, if you stop replying to my DMs, I swear I'm gonna delete Facebook and Instagram. And
Robert, you're the best, man. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for us, and just your kind words, and for the DMs and everything.
And for the other three of you, where have you been?
There's more than three. We have more than three. But thank you guys so much. No pressure. It's okay that you're not sharing this. I understand.
What? I want you to comment down below why you're not sharing our podcast. We're working real hard.
If each of you shared just to one person, and that one person watched our show, we would get double the views. I can't even imagine what I would do with that many views. I feel like Scrooge McDuck.
Just diving into
a bunch of gold coins at that point.
Call me David Dobrik because I'm buying a Tesla.
Yeah, I'm buying all my friends' Teslas. No, thank you for joining us. Seriously, we really do appreciate everyone who watches this show week in and week out. All of our faithful friends who watch the show. There are a lot of you, and we really do appreciate you. Thank you, Jamie Walker and Jackie Smith, for being so faithful. Even if you're like weeks and weeks behind, we know that at some point you're going to hear us. Thank you.
It means a lot. Yeah.
And so thank you.
It's gonna be like Christmas.
Yeah,
you're so welcome. About what?
What are you talking about? Thank you for joining us. We're gonna talk about some real quick news, and then we're gonna dive back into what we were talking about last week.
Yeah.
But there's really only one thing that I want to talk about before we really get started, and that is that as of this week, at the point of this show airing on our YouTube channel, this will be week-old news.
Right.
But so last week, the official, it's kind of a teaser. It's like
it's a teaser.
It's like 50 seconds long.
Yeah.
The official teaser for Bill and Ted Face the Music was released. I have some thoughts on it. I don't know if you watched it.
Yeah.
And you sent it to our group message with our friends who are all very much into the things that we're into, and we chat about things on there from time to time.
It's just our moms.
It's just us and our moms.
And Robert.
And Michael. It's just us, our moms, Robert and Michael. The only people we need in our lives. Besides our significant others.
That's it.
No, the Bill and Ted Face the Music. It's part 3. It's officially, Bill and Ted is officially a trilogy.
Officially.
I will say this about Bill and Ted. I discovered the Bill and Ted movies. I watched them with my dad when I must have been in the 6th grade.
Oh, cool.
I watched the first one, and I saw it on TV for the first time with my dad. Mm-hmm. We watched it together. I was so into this movie that my dad bought me a DVD of it, and I wore that DVD out. Like I can the scene in the DVD menu is the scene where they're with all of the people who they get from history, right? This is how many I know it like off the top of my head. I'm just explaining to you.
Sure.
That's how much I watched this DVD. Wow. Is I know the scene they're going through the time circuits. They're in the photo booth. They're in the phone booth.
Yeah.
All the people are behind them, and they're like, "Oh, where are we going?" And they're following and all this stuff. That's the DVD menu. Doesn't matter to you. Yeah. Doesn't matter to you. But I'm just saying that's how much I watched this.
Well, movie. I personally love it. Love those movies with all my heart. I have a much different background with them. I filmed a wedding all day with your brother. We ordered a bunch of pizzas while we lived together, and we watched both movies in a night after filming a wedding for 12 hours.
Oh, cool. Was it the wedding that I hired you guys to film?
Yeah. Thanks for this.
Full circle.
Yeah. Crashed on the couch, ordered 2 pizzas, slammed them, watched 2 movies. Ton of fun.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
And Bogus Journey.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is awesome. The trailer for the new one is very interesting. Mm-hmm. Same with the second one. So I hadn't seen it. I watched the first one, for months. Mm. And then my dad, I didn't know there was a second one.
Oh, cool.
This was like before the age of me, like, I guess this was right at the age of internet, for me.
Yeah.
Which, was, the internet wasn't a thing yet. So I couldn't just go on IMDb and I didn't know the internet was new. Sure. YouTube was like a year old at this point.
Yeah.
So I didn't know there was a second movie. And then finally, after I'd watched this movie probably at least 30 times, my dad was like, "You should watch the second one." And I was like, There's a second one? And he's like, and this is what he said. And I remember it because it blew my mind. He goes, "Yeah, in the second one, Bill and Ted kill themselves." I was like,
and go to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was all he told me about the movie.
That's amazing.
And then he already had the DVD. He already had it for me.
Just been saving it.
And he just kind of
what a dad
pulled
move.
it out. Yeah. He pulled it out. We put it in the PlayStation 2 in our den.
Yeah.
And we sat on the couch and we watched Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Excellent. And that one was a trippy one, but I loved it just as much. I loved the God Gave Rock and Roll to You at the end with Station and the Grim Reaper, with Death playing like an upright bass. It was awesome. Their wives are in their band. Anyway. I love Bill and Ted.
I love Bill and
Ted.
So
this trailer was super exciting to me.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on it before
I'm so interested. I know it's going to be great. It's so weird to see them with a budget behind them.
Yeah.
There's some special effects in here.
Yeah.
It's kind of like off-putting.
Yeah.
But also it's a sequel that's 30 years on, 25 years on at least. At least 25 years. But so I settled into it. I watched it like 3 times.
Right.
First time,
I watched it twice.
First time I always see a trailer, especially for a sequel of an 80s movie, it always throws me for a loop because obviously tonally they're going to be so different.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
of course
they can't help it.
And it's that new bit of sheen that has to kind of like sink in. I'm like, okay, I've seen it. Let me give 5 seconds, think about it. Let me watch it again. Watch it again. There's not a single part of the trailer that I'm not excited to see fleshed out.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Totally.
So
Totally. Absolutely.
yeah, like
So this movie, so if you haven't seen Bill and Ted, the first movie, these 2 slacker teenagers basically find out they've started a band, but they don't even know how to play their instruments.
Right.
A man comes from the future. His name is Rufus. He tells them, "You've written a song that's brought unity to the entire world. You are like the catalyst. Your music changes the entire world, unifies nations. Like the water's cleaner, the earth is better because of the song you've written." That's what happens, and it's all based on you guys have to graduate high school.
Yeah.
And you have a history report that's due. And if you don't pass this history report, you're not going to write this song.
Yeah.
So he gives them a time machine. They go back and get historical figures for their history report. They have this awesome live history report. That's what the movie is. The second movie, they're in a struggling band. Their girlfriends, who I won't spoil it for you, but their girlfriends are in the first movie as well. Their girlfriends are in their band. They're actually good musicians. Bill and Ted are still crap musicians. They still haven't written the song, and this time that the catalyst of them being discovered is based on them winning this battle of the bands. So they start. They basically go on a journey. There are robot versions of themselves from the future.
You can't give an elevator pitch of this movie. It's impossible.
There are robot versions of them from the future that are sent to the past to kill them because there's an evil dictator in the future who doesn't want them to unify all nations with their music. So the robots come, they kill Bill and Ted, they take over Bill and Ted's life and basically ruin their lives.
Right.
Bill and Ted then go to the afterlife. They beat the Grim Reaper to get their life back.
Yeah.
They go to hell. They come back. They go to heaven. And then they come back and they sing God Gave Rock and Roll to you. They basically discover aliens in that space.
That's what happens.
It's just, they create robot versions of themselves to fight the robot versions of themselves.
Moving on to the new one.
The new one is called Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yeah.
It's 30 years later. Bill and Ted still have not written the song that unifies the world. They still haven't written it. They're middle-aged. They have teenage daughters.
Mm-hmm.
They're losers, you know? Like they're still the same dudes, but it seems like they're kind of these losers who, you know, haven't, you know, found the song, and their band Wild Stallions hasn't created what the future becomes.
Right.
From the trailer, it looks like there's, you know, the people of the future basically take Bill and Ted and they say, you need to write this song.
Right.
If you don't write it quick, like the future hangs in the balance of you writing this epic song.
Right.
And so that's where this movie takes place.
Yeah. Can I say my theory?
Yes, and then I'll say mine.
If you watch this trailer, when it says, like, the people from the future say, you know, 25 years ago you played a song for the entire world. Last week you played for like a trivia, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
When she says that, it shows them on stage playing together with like a blue light shining behind them.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally the ending, right?
It looks like it. And like if you look behind Ted, his dad is behind him playing like a clarinet. And he's got like the police vest on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's a dream sequence. I don't know if it's like an imaginary sequence or what. Here's my theory. Was that your only theory?
That was it, yeah.
Yeah, that looked, because it was a huge crowd and stuff. I think that their daughters are going to play a major role in it.
Which would be awesome.
Maybe their daughters will end up in their band with them. Maybe their daughters are the inspiration for their song, and they needed their daughters to write the song.
Yeah.
Or maybe their daughters write the song, like
and
as
we
part of the
hand
band,
off the baton.
and they hand off the baton. I don't know. Here's what I do think. Based on, there's a scene in the trailer where they go, basically Bill and Ted decide we're going to go to the future with the time machine.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to steal the song from ourselves and then go back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So my theory, and they go to the future and they find themselves in the future. They're like yoked up, like
prisoners
in like a jail, in like a prison yard.
Yeah.
Like jacked up, muscular, like tattoos.
Yeah. Say excellent.
Yeah. They say like excellent and like heinous and stuff. It's awesome.
It's great.
My theory is that the first movie introduced time travel. The second movie introduced afterlife and aliens.
Right.
This movie introduces Bill and Ted's Multiverse, where I think they're going to go to the future and, like, for example, this is my theory. They go to that future with the buffed up Bill and Ted, right? They steal a song that's like this metal rock and roll song. They go back, the past is different. They go to the future again, it's a different Bill and Ted. Like they're not yoked up anymore. They're like super hippie or something, and they wrote like a super Beatles song. Then that's what changed the world. So they steal that song. They go back again. They keep going to different future multiverses. They take all the songs.
Brilliant.
They take all the songs from all the futures.
Yeah.
They come back to the past and merge them all and create the unifying song.
It's really great.
Like
it's
they
really
merge all of those songs and create like it's like all of these different genres of music from like their different future selves and different multiverse selves, and they take all of those 5 songs and they come back and they like unify them into one unified song. That's my theory.
That's really good.
That's what really it seems like, because it seems like them being muscular, yoked up dudes in the future is just super one-dimensional. Yeah. And I feel like they're going to hop back and forth between present and future and meet different versions of Bill and Ted along the way. That'd be great.
That'd be really awesome.
That's my theory. We'll see, and hopefully, fingers crossed, August 21st, it's still coming out. The trailer still says summer 2020. Yeah. So they're not giving up hope on it.
I don't think so. I think we'll be sitting in a movie theater real soon.
And that's my theory. I could be completely wrong. I'd be happy to be completely wrong.
It's not.
But at the same time, I'm also very excited to sit in a theater next to you, and if that starts happening, for you to just be like, "It's happening! It's happening!
Here we go!"
That'd be cool. Yeah. That's my theory.
Yeah, that's
in
great.
A nutshell.
No, that's really great. Yeah. And then if the ending happens and it's that shot, you can be like, "Good job, Braden.
Good job, Braden. We did it together." That's my theory on Bill and Ted, based on that one look.
Well, that's great.
And I think there's going to be a lot of twists and turns.
Hopefully,
I would venture to say even they go back in time, and with the budget they have, they do like the aging and they talk to like their young selves again. They young themselves up like Hank Pym and Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah. Totally, that could happen. It's all exciting. It's all good stuff.
Exciting. But I do think they're going to introduce a new element to, you had time travel, you had like afterlife, right? And then now it's like multi-dimensional, different timelines based on your actions. Yeah. Because if you remember in the first movie, they kept going back in time to make their history project what it was. Remember, because he goes back in time and gets the trash can that falls. So each one of those dimensions was a different history project. True. So in theory, from that first movie, like what we saw was their last history project, but they did a bunch of them before that. And all of those timelines went forward. So they might go to all those different timelines. Does that make sense to you? It makes sense to me.
I don't want you to flesh it out anymore.
I've thought about this for a long time.
Because it's making way too much sense.
If I'm wrong, they should have hired me to write this movie. I know I could have done this movie justice.
It's not bad at all.
Anyway, so I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see Keanu Reeves in like a fun role again, and not just John Wick or Cyberpunk or whatever he's doing.
It's gonna be a ton of fun.
I mean, he is in the new SpongeBob movie as like a tumbleweed, but
yeah, that's true.
Who knows?
Who knows, man?
He's the coolest.
He's the best.
Everybody
knows Keanu.
I think if I could have one, like this is dreaming. Yeah. If I could have one celebrity guest on this podcast, I think it would be Keanu Reeves.
You think?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a better one. I can't.
Either him, Nicolas Cage, or Christopher Walken.
I do love Nicolas Cage.
But I feel like he'd be wild. I feel like Keanu would just hang with us.
Keanu would hang with us. He'd be the best guy to like just bro down with, But I love Nicolas Cage.
I know.
And I would love to have a conversation about like, why did you do this?
Yeah.
And then like,
why did you lay on Elvis's bed?
Yeah, hear him having from his mind tell it. I bet it would make sense. Yeah. I bet it'd be like, yeah, got it.
Okay,
I would love to meet Nicolas Cage.
I almost played Superman.
Why?
Because Tim Burton came to me, and I've always dreamed of playing a comic book character. My real name isn't even Nicolas Cage. My real name is Nicolas something else, and I chose Nicolas Cage because I'm such a big fan of Luke Cage, the Marvel superhero.
I also feel like a lot of times my emotions are in a cage in and of itself.
I really did steal the Declaration of Independence. I have it hanging up on my wall.
Yeah.
I dated Elvis Presley's daughter just to lay on his bed. That's true.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he really did change his name to Nicolas Cage because of Luke Cage. That's
Really?
true. Yeah. 100%.
Oh, well, I made my stuff up.
Oh.
I was going to say, Tim Burton came to me in a dream, and he offered me the role of Superman.
Jack Skellington came to me in a dream. I was animated like a crazy Christmas animated elf.
And then I stood too close to a candle, and my face started to melt, and then I knew right then and there I had to play Ghost Rider.
Anyway.
Well, that was stupid.
Yeah. I'm excited about Bill and Ted. Also, side note, I'm not gonna flat out say this because this is like a good family podcast.
Yeah.
But Bill and Ted have a number, and it's like, if you're thinking what I'm thinking, if we're the same person, what number am I thinking of, right?
Yeah.
That number. Now, the teaser trailer came out on June 9th.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
Same number.
Yeah.
And it also came out at like 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific.
Shut up.
Kid you not. Because that's their number. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That's true, though.
That's amazing.
Their number was the same date that teaser trailer came out.
Wow.
That's awesome. Notice that as well.
I feel like the post bit, like after the music ends and everything, we'll be like, it's 69. 69 is the number. That's amazing.
Let's jump right into the conversation. Let's continue our conversation from last week about the evolution of Hollywood filmmaking.
So I'm done talking about the evolution of Hollywood filmmaking. Thanks for watching.
Dang it! I liked it.
I want to talk about old Hollywood still. Still the like chronicles of the old stuff. Old Hollywood.
So this week we're not talking about the evolution of filmmaking as much as the golden era of filmmaking and what different things that different filmmakers and actors and stuntmen did within the golden age.
Yeah, weird stuff happened.
Yeah,
weird stuff. So first off, right off the bat, they used to, obviously they didn't have like squibs and blanks and everything to like simulate
squib,
gunfire.
for those of you who don't know, is like it's underneath a shirt, and when somebody gets shot, it pops.
Blows out.
It's like a fake blood capsule that blows up, and it's connected to a small pyrotechnic, and it's connected to a vest underneath a shirt.
Yeah.
That's a squib.
It can also be like in a wall when somebody's running, and squibs are like
made
to look like bullet
drywall
holes.
blowing off of a wall.
Exactly.
Bullets or whatever.
Yeah, so
that's a squib.
they obviously didn't have that at the time. So to simulate that, they just shot at you.
What?
I'm not playing around.
Just like past you?
Yes, shooting like windows out around you and shooting the wall around you with an actual gun.
No way. That's unreal.
So in today's films, shooting effects are usually achieved by blanks, tiny explosive called squibs, and if that's too much trouble, a little dose of computer magic. In Hollywood's early years, they didn't have access to such fancy tools, so whenever gunfights occur in early movies, there's a good chance that they're really shooting at each other. If you live near a film set, you probably want to stay in that day.
Yeah.
So if somebody is like undercover and windows are being blown out around him,
legitimate bullets going
legitimately
through
someone is firing a gun at that window.
Not even like rubber bullets or anything?
No.
Like real like
bullets. Real bullets.
Throw a rock. Throw a rock.
You would see a rock.
I guess.
Not really though. It's 1915, you know? Like your
the frame
camera's
rate's not that high.
good. Yeah. You throw a rock real fast, it's not going to catch it.
Shoot a rock through a cannon.
Yeah.
That's basically a gun.
Speaking of cannons, they really shot cannons.
This is unbelievable.
So last week we talked about a little film called The Birth of a Nation.
They had no threshold for like safety at this point.
They didn't. We talked about The Birth of a Nation, really controversial film, but at the end of the day it pushed
cinema forward.
Yeah, it pushed it forward. It's a terrible movie that paints the KKK as the heroes of this movie.
Which is trash, garbage, and bad Hollywood altogether.
Bad Hollywood all the way. Yes. Not saying anything about that. But in this movie, they legitimately fired cannons for battle scenes with cannonballs in them.
Crazy.
I'm not very familiar with a cannon.
Yeah.
But I feel like you just like, pat it full of gunpowder, light the
Stick a big old
fuse.
cannonball.
Yeah, yeah. So I would assume that if you don't put the cannonball in there, but you put...
It'll still blow out like gunpowder.
It'll still have an explosion. But they shot real ones out so that way they could film it landing somewhere and blowing
So they
something
just
up.
have 2 cameras and just,
Yeah.
that's 2 birds, 1 stone.
Is that not insane?
That is insane.
So they didn't have blanks back then, but that only lets you appear to fire a gun. To simulate a bullet hitting a wall, window, etc., next to an actor, they simply had to shoot it.
Right.
If it was artillery fire, same deal. In a film in 1915 called The Captive, an infamously insane director by Cecil B. DeMille.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing it's like a war movie, and he was filming a scene where they were breaking out of
A jail,
like a prisoner of war camp.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene where they're in like an underground tunnel, and it's kind of smoky, and he asked the guy, like whoever, like the guards of the prison, the actors,
Mm-hmm.
they said, when the smoke falls, hold your gun ups and shoot at the ceiling. We're going to replace it with blanks. Because they did have blanks,
Mm-hmm.
but they legitimately, like they did have blanks. But
Right.
if they were filming something, like glass or walls being shot, they used real bullets. They forgot to swap the guns out for the blanks. So they were shooting real bullets and killed someone on a film set.
Come on.
Is that not insane?
It's just insane.
It doesn't make sense to me.
It's just like
Is a shot
danger for
worth
danger's
it?
sake.
Yeah.
No.
At the very least, surely they had firecrackers, right?
Right.
Just have someone behind the set.
Fireworks are hundreds of years old at this point.
Right. At the very least, if you're gonna do like a drywall type of deal, like he's running and bullets are just barely missing him,
Mm-hmm.
firing into the drywall.
Mm-hmm.
Put some firecrackers in a thin sheet of drywall.
Just light them from the other side.
Light them from the other side. It'll
Yeah.
explode through the wall.
Totally.
You can time it out.
Yeah.
You're literally dropping sides of buildings onto people using math.
Yeah.
Just do that, right?
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. I wholeheartedly agree that is absolute insanity.
Oh, well, cool. Okay.
What's really funny and interesting to me is that there's a documentary on Steven Spielberg about like when he was young and making films, and he would make like war movies as a kid, and he didn't have access to real guns, so he would get sticks and he would make a little tiny seesaw, and he would cover one end of the stick with dirt, and he would get a rock and he would make a seesaw out of it. So there's a stick sticking up out of the ground. And he would film like himself or one of his friends running and stepping on the sticks. And as they would step on the sticks, it would shoot dirt up on the other end, and it looked like they were being shot at their feet.
Wow.
And he was a kid.
There you go.
It took 13-year-old Steven Spielberg
To crack
to
the Hollywood
crack the
code.
code.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was done in films before that, but I'm just saying he didn't have the internet to teach him that.
Yeah.
He didn't have, like, they didn't have books in the late 60s,
Right.
early 70s of teaching you how to make a movie
Right.
as a kid.
Yeah.
He just figured that
Just
out
do
because
it.
he knew, I want these, it's like a World War II film that he's making as a kid. I want them to look like they're being shot at.
Yeah.
And he just figured it out.
I would assume whenever someone was shot and murdered on your set, that's the turning point to be like, okay, only use blanks.
It should only happen one time.
It should only
in
happen one time.
movie. And then it's like, okay, this person died. Let's figure out a way to not have anybody else die.
Let's bury a stick in the dirt.
Let's
Just do
bury some
that.
sticks.
Yeah. So this is kind of like the evolution of certain stunts and practical effects, right?
Yeah.
It's really just fun facts of old Hollywood and how they used to do just some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Throwing it back to Alfred Hitchcock in The Birds. Have you heard about this?
The real birds? Yeah.
Yeah. There's a scene where she's attacked at a gas station by a bunch of birds, in particular Tippi Hedren.
Mm-hmm.
That's the star
She's
of the
the main
film.
character,
Yes. She was supposed to be attacked by fake mechanical birds. The mechanical birds apparently were not working. Didn't look real. Alfred Hitchcock wasn't a fan of them. So he tied a bunch of birds to her arms So she would flail around,
and they would just be stuck to her, just flapping like they were attacking her.
And then they were starting to attack her because
she's just flailing around.
Yeah, she's flailing around.
Didn't they at one point weren't there people like throwing birds at her?
Yes,
literally just grabbing a bird.
She has multiple birds,
and people are just chucking birds.
She has multiple birds tied to her arms so that they're with her at all times. And then, while they're doing that, they're throwing other live birds at her
and hitting her with them. And then they're just flailing and flying away. And there's feathers. And that's a good movie.
It's a good movie. It really is. And
that's insane.
The shot is incredible.
Yeah.
Because it's, obviously, why would it not be?
Is it playing right now?
Yes, it's playing right now. Don't you see it?
Oh.
Look at the birds.
I think it's about. Oh yeah, it feels good. It's a good feeling. That's a good feeling.
It's a little low. Let's just actually, it's
bring it back.
You know what? Just forget it.
Yeah.
Let's just get it off.
It's gone now.
Man, I hope you kept up, Braden.
That's an easy one. That's
an easy one.
That's
totally
easy.
Okay. So now we're gonna move on to children.
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 What year did this come out?
No. Just children in Hollywood.
I thought this was a movie. I was like, I've never heard of Children before. Children of the Corn?
No. Just children in Hollywood. This is like 30s.
Okay.
Like early days.
Mm-hmm.
Shirley Temple kind of.
Yeah.
Like literally Shirley Temple. The first one is a movie called Skippy. Jackie Cooper, the child in the movie, had to cry for a scene. Couldn't make himself cry. So then the director, Norman Torog, was also his uncle.
Mm-hmm.
So he used his nephew in the scene. Nephew couldn't cry. He goes up to him. I guess he grabs his shirt collar and he says, "Listen, kid, if you don't cry right now, I'm going to take you home and I'm going to kill your dog in front of you." Yeah.
That'll do it.
And then he started crying.
This kid's a regular old Jacob Tremblay.
Yeah. Jackie Cooper later said, older, I guess, "I could visualize my dog bloody from that one awful shot. I began sobbing so hysterically that it was almost too much for the scene. The director had to quiet me down by
it's
saying,
his own fault.
By saying, you did a good job. Your dog survived the shot. If I hurried and calmed down a little and did the scene the way he wanted, we would go to see my dog. If my dog was still alive."
No.
This
threatening to kill animals is just wrong,
especially a kid's dog, right?
Even when sidebar, even when we played Red Dead Redemption online, if one of the people in our group shot a dog, I would get mad at them.
True, yeah.
You don't shoot a dog. You don't shoot. I won't tell you who. There's a person who is a friend of ours who shot a dog.
That's so messed up.
And I was like, how dare you?
That's not okay.
I don't care if it's a digital dog.
Yeah.
That's a pup. That pup has a family. That pup deserves love and affection.
Oh, God.
Anyway, even on a video game, you can't abuse dogs. And don't shoot horses either.
Oh, yeah.
If it's like a wild alligator out in the swamp, shoot it with an arrow. I understand. Because it's trying to kill you in the game.
Arrow.
Yeah. The arrow just kills it right away.
Oh, you mean in the game?
Yeah.
I was just like, if you see a crocodile in the swamp, just
pull out your bow and arrow and give it a quick thwip.
But yeah, this abruptly brings us to the black box.
The black box.
The black box is what they called this box, that if children weren't behaving on set or weren't doing what they want,
stick them in a box
to make them sit on an ice cube. A giant cube of ice that they would make them sit on
until it just burned. And
that, I guess the black box was so small that they could only, even if they stood up, their legs were still touching the ice, and they had to stay in there until they learned their lessons or learned their lines.
That is crazy.
So,
what kind of psychopath does that to a kid?
I have no clue. Man, Hollywood was just crazy. And Shirley Temple.
Also, I mean, this is horrible. This is horrible what these people are doing. But you have to admit, these are some resilient kids. These are some tough kids.
Here's the thing. Shirley Temple, to this day, or not to this day, oops. Shirley Temple later said,
whole life,
as an adult, she said, "So far as I can tell, the black box did no lasting damage to my psyche." That's what she said. But could you imagine if she's doing that interview and then the lights
She's
just
like, as far as I can tell, there is no
oh my God!
damage to my psyche. Nothing wrong with the black box. Is it cold in here? That hurt.
I don't want any. No, I said no ice.
Yeah.
I said no ice.
I'll take my Shirley Temple with no ice. I'm Shirley Temple and I'm ordering a Shirley Temple. No ice. That clipped so bad. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Oh my gosh.
How long do you think Shirley Temple lived, like, into her adult? I feel like people didn't recognize her as an adult. She was kind of a kid actress.
Yeah.
But I feel like if somebody knew who she was, how long do you think she lived with the joke of, like, her going into a bar and then be like, want a Shirley Temple? Shirley Temple? You know?
I would love to say till the day she died.
Because the Shirley Temple,
But-
you know, the history of that was literally because, you know, like, movie executives would go to bars to talk through movies, and she would go with them, and she couldn't drink, so they would give her a Sprite with cherry in it, and that was what she would drink every time, and that's what a Shirley Temple is. That's what she would drink.
She'd just be smoking a cigarette and be like, no, I can't drink.
Sitting on a block of ice, like,
No, I can't drink.
I kind of like the ice now.
Ooh, nice and cool. Can I? Is this?
Just her legs are just kicking.
Is this a menthol block of ice?
Yeah, I like it.
I like it.
Block of ice the black box doesn't bother me. I like it.
Put me in the black box.
Put me in the black box.
You
I
know
don't
what?
mind.
You know what? Fine, I'll go there myself. I'll see you in my trailer. I mean, my black box.
Somebody bring me some animal crackers in some soup.
And some cigarettes.
I need my animal crackers and my cigarettes. Shirley Temple's just like walking around with a cigarette in her hand, doing like that little like strut.
She's like, she's in the black box. I just see it like it had no damage to her psyche.
Yeah.
So she's in the black box on the block of ice, like cross-legged with a cigarette, just singing her songs. It's like, no, I don't want to do it like that.
Yeah.
What's the Shirley Temple song?
Animal crackers in my soup.
No, I don't like it. Animal crackers. I need a colder block of ice
And a Shirley Temple and that drink that's named after me.
These crackers are stale.
Put them in some soup. That's all. What if that was her whole diet? Was just cigarettes, Sprite with some cherry, and soup with animal crackers in it. They wrote that song because that's all she would eat. It was based off her life.
Oh my God.
I just imagine her sitting on the black box and be like, "All right, Shirley, I think your time's up. You can get off the block of ice." She just stands up and like tap dances away, like out of
But
frame.
it's still like frozen to her.
Good job, Shirley.
Oh, it's such a horrible thing to joke about.
What if she legitimately just didn't have feeling from like the waist down, and she was like, "Yeah, it didn't bother me," and then you found out later like you could pinch her leg and she didn't feel it
She's
anyway.
like- she sat on
just
like
dead
a
down
knife.
there. Yeah.
She put cigarettes out on her legs.
She's like, "Yeah, it didn't bother me." She just grabs a knife and stabs her own leg. She's like, "Can't feel a thing."
My psyche's good to go.
My psyche's good to go. What else happened back in those days?
Oh, well, that's the most fun I've ever talked about. Child labor laws.
Shirley Temple.
There's a film called Haunted Spooks.
Cool.
Which sounds spooky and haunted.
Yeah.
It was a silent film and star Harold Lloyd was doing a publicity shoot for Haunted Spooks with a prop bomb, which turned out to be a real bomb.
How does that even happen? How do you make a prop bomb and be like, I was trying to make this. I was just like pouring chemicals and like gunpowder. Like, I'm gonna make this prop look so real that. Oh, sorry guys, I actually made a real bomb. That's my bad.
He was holding
That's my
it,
bad.
He was holding it above his head, and it went off during the publicity shoot, and he lost his thumb and index finger.
Who was in charge of that? Like, who got hired to make a prop bomb and just built a real bomb?
So apparently, the bomb was supposed to produce smoke out of the top.
Yeah. A la Batman.
Yeah.
The original Batman.
Like, some days
you can't get rid of a bomb.
That's perfect. So yeah, Lloyd was posing for the shot on a set, and he remarked to the photographer that, for a fake bomb, this is really putting off an awful lot of smoke. And then a few seconds later, the bomb explodes. Blew the photographer clear across the room, injuring his assistant that was taking off the roof. So it blew him. So it
blew his fingers off.
Blew his fingers off.
Blew the photographer away.
Across
blew his
the room,
assistant away.
And blew the roof off.
That's some firepower. That's so stupid. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
It's so dumb. It's not even for the movie. It's just a photo shoot, like a Vanity Fair photo shoot.
That is not worth
That's like I don't even, that's like nothing.
Yeah.
That's like holding a fake bomb, but it's a real bomb.
Oh my gosh.
That's like
so
posing
crazy.
with a tiger and then expecting it not to rip your face off.
That's like someone saying, we're going to have you pose with a fake tiger. And then you go in and it's a living tiger and it bites your hands off. But you think that it's a fake tiger the whole time.
It's an animatronic.
And you basically look at it and you're like, wow, that tiger looks really hungry. And then your arm's gone. Who's in charge of the prop bomb?
I have no
Or they
clue.
just like had a shelf with the prop bomb and a real bomb.
I could only imagine.
And like the labels got switched somehow. And they're like, oh, there's a prop.
He's in a hurry making all these bombs. Like, I need the bomb right now. He's like, fine, take your bomb. And then he like turns around and he goes,
Uh-oh.
Wait.
He's already gone. He's like, oh,
Well,
they'll figure it out.
They paid for it.
That's insane.
Oh, yeah.
No intelligent life anywhere.
No. Man, so the rest of the stuff I've got is just sad. Just sad. I don't know if I want to get into it.
If it's sad, I don't want to hear it. I don't want sad stuff. This is a fun podcast.
No.
Is there one that you can make like a fun spin on, or are they just all super depressing?
Let me just
rapid fire at me.
Morality clause, which made actresses get abortions.
Ugh. The evil.
Ugh, yeah.
Evil.
And then like made them no choice in the matter.
Evil.
And then closeting gay and lesbian actors, like giving them sham marriages. You
skipped some bad ones.
Oh, skip some bad ones. Oh, here's a fun one.
Oh boy,
here's a fun spin.
Are you
it could be a fun spin. Yes, genuinely. We're out of there. Morality clauses were bad. Judy Garland was put on happy pills so that she would lose weight and be happy all the time.
Evil.
Terrible things. Here's the only fun thing left. In the 20s and 30s, for fake snow, they used asbestos. They sprinkled asbestos all over
and just killed people.
Just lightly killing people.
They didn't know at the time that asbestos killed people.
No, but like that's how Steve McQueen died. He died from an illness that was
asbestos poisoning.
Yeah. Which I thought we could make this fun, but it turns out it's just real
depressing.
bad.
What were there had to be other alternatives to asbestos, right?
What would you use for fake snow besides fake snow? You can't use bottled fake snow.
Well, it didn't exist back then. But I mean maybe like
paper.
Shaved like real shaved up paper, maybe like cotton balls.
Yeah. That's not the worst.
I mean, my first thought was salt, but imagine it just like salt just getting in your eyes. Like
might as well
just
been,
torture.
Man. Oh my god!
At least it would be temporary and not kill Steve McQueen if he was just getting drenched in
He's
salt.
He's just got like high cholesterol now. That's it.
That's unbelievable. I think maybe a mixture of paper and cotton. Sounds fair to me.
Totally.
Maybe if they had like the stuff that they make like packing peanuts out of back then,
styrofoam,
like maybe styrofoam.
Yeah,
did they have styrofoam in the 40s?
If somebody gets
when did
mad
Steve McQueen
that we
die?
did,
60s.
Steve McQueen died. Hang on, did I write it down?
60s.
It's got to be the 60s or 70s.
60s or 70s. They had styrofoam by the 70s. Make it rain styrofoam.
Make it rain styrofoam.
Make it rain styrofoam. What's up? Why asbestos?
I kind of want that on
know
the
that
shirt.
asbestos could
Make
kill
it
you.
rain styrofoam.
They didn't know that asbestos could kill you.
They didn't. No. I mean, like, to be fair, like most high schools had asbestos in it.
They didn't know it. Yeah. I mean, also to be fair, they didn't know cigarettes could kill you either. They just thought they looked cool.
That's true. Yeah.
And I mean, here we are.
I mean, they did look cool, and now we're here.
And nowadays, like, there are people that know they kill you and they still smoke them
because they look cool.
they think they look cool. Arguably, they do look pretty cool.
Okay, so I'm glad we talked about all this. Like, you know, where film has taken us, all this.
Yeah.
About the bad, about the good that came out of it. A ton of bad, but also like a ton of good.
Yeah.
know? Cinema is cinema now because of all that.
Yeah.
So
Revolutionary technological advances.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Cinema is cinema now. We went through all this craziness, all the stories, all the pioneering, all of the horror stories.
Mm-hmm.
We watched a movie this week together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what that movie was called?
The movie we watched together was called The Bully.
I think it was like How to Deal with a Bully.
How to Deal with a Bully
Yeah.
on Amazon Prime.
Boy, did it pay off. All those years of torturing actors and actresses, all the years of
what
child
you didn't
labor
see
laws.
is that How to Beat a Bully is about a little kid who is being bullied in what is quote unquote school, but it's really just some creepy lady's house. And he tells the kids at school that his dad is in the mafia. It scares him away. What you didn't see in the movie is all those kids sitting on black boxes.
They're
Learn
all
your
in that.
lines.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
if you want to watch a really bad movie, go watch How to Beat a Bully.
it's on Amazon Prime for free.
Here's the thing. Watch the trailer first.
Watch the trailer first.
The trailer is unfinished. Let's say
Yes. Yes.
that. Shockingly, once we started the movie, like, I don't know if our expectation dropped
No,
or if the
there's no way
movie
to
got
tell.
better.
There's no way to
There's
tell.
no way to tell when we crossed a threshold.
Yeah.
It was like a perfect axis of us crossing between our expectation being like, this is going to be terrible, and the movie being down here,
Yeah.
and us watching it. And then all of a sudden we hit this point
Yeah.
where the movie wasn't that bad.
No.
Or our expectation dropped so low below, you know, the water line that we were like, by the end of it, we were like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
The worst thing about it wasn't the story.
No.
The worst thing about it was the production value.
Yes.
The story was actually a pretty great
Yes.
kids movie, Disney Channel original movie idea.
Totally.
The script was pretty good.
It wasn't bad.
It really wasn't that bad of a script for what it was, a family movie,
There's
And it's
I will say,
it's insane
there's
that
a character. There's a character in this movie that his only purpose in the movie is to be a guy with a hook hand who has a stoma.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
And he's only in one scene? Two scenes?
Two.
And he has 2 lines of dialogue where he's like, you should really take care of your kid. Or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's got a hook for a hand for no reason. It's never explained. My only thought was maybe that guy was the director. And maybe that was like the director cameo.
Oh my! It was outrageous.
Outrageous movie. If you guys want to watch an outrageous movie, check out How to Beat a Bully.
Just watch
It's
the
available
trailer
on
at the
Amazon
very
Prime.
least.
Watch the trailer.
Oh my God! Is it the best?
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Podzilla. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I know I gave you a lot of flack at the beginning of the episode, and hopefully that didn't turn any of you away. I'm just messing with you. I'm just kidding around with you. But yeah, please do leave a comment below and let us know what you think. What do you think about Bill and Ted? What do you think about Shirley Temple? What do you think about, the black box? Maybe we missed something crazy along the way that you'd like to share with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So please like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah. If you want to email us, you can email us at thepodzillashow@gmail.com. If you want to follow us at pod.zilla. Have you said that already?
Nope.
If you want to follow us at pod.zilla.
Yeah.
If you want to follow us personally, I'm at Tonus Braden.
I'm at the David Smith Jr.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Always remember, animal crackers in my soup, and a cigarette and a Shirley Temple, and a cigarette in your where? What? We'll see you next time.
Where else would it
Bye.
be?
Bye.
Bye.
Have fun.
Come on and hear, come on and hear Alexander's ragtime band. Come on and hear, come on and hear, it's the best band in the land. They can play a bugle call like you never heard before, so natural that you wanna go to war. That's just the bestest band what I am on the honey lamb. Come on along, let me take you by the hand. Up to the man, who's the leader of the band. And if you care to hear the Swanee River play, in ragtime, come on and hear, come on and hear.